think that Cardale Jones is going to be stressed mentally and physically. He's never been in that situation. It's 5 quarters of football. He's never had to play from behind and felt the stress of going out there and leading this team to a score that is either going to lead this team or either tie a game. He's always played ahead with the blitz. I have Alabama beating Ohio State.
I think what David said is right. Reese, you indicated this as well. Urban Meyer has been trying to rebuild Ohio State to get them to compete with Alabama. He may be a year ahead of schedule right now, the fact that he got his team. If J.T. Barrett were quarterbacking this team, I'd probably pick Ohio State to win the game. But with Cardale Jones, just because of the unknown, how will he perform against a great coach in this setting? I'm going with Alabama as well.
Good morning, Bucknutters. Happy Monday, February 2nd, 2015. I am Dan Rubin, joined by Alex Gleitman on the Bucknuts Morning 5-ish. And it's one of those weeks. It's signing week. We've got a couple days till signing day, so we figured we'd get you up to speed as late as possible. That's why we're recording this earlier in the morning. As you can tell, maybe Alex and I don't have our American Idol voices ready to rock. Alex, how you feeling this fine Monday morning?
I'm feeling great, Nothing like coming off Super Bowl Sunday. What a game last night, and, ready to rock and roll for signing day.
It was an interesting game, and the way I feel about it, I think the best team won in the end. So we're going to talk about just completely up to speed on the guys Ohio State is still in the mix with. And then we're going to have Alex play what we love to call the in or out game. So Alex is going to make his call in or out. Obviously, there's a few days left in the mix here and things can change. But we're going to put Alex on the spot simply for your listening pleasure. Up first, the standout late kind of addition to the mix from outside linebackers, standout Porter Gustin. Alex, in or out, and why?
Yeah, well, I kind of put in my crystal ball for Porter even before the Ohio State visit. And I'm going to have him in this class. And my reasoning is a couple things. I think Porter, who originally, people don't know, he originally was supposed to announce at the Army All-American Bowl, and it was going to be between USC and Arizona State, most likely USC at that point. But there's a reason he didn't make that decision, and a big part of that reason was that he wanted to see what Ohio State had to offer. Porter's been on record that he's looking for that place that gives him, quote-unquote, that feeling, just that, you walk on campus and you just know. And I don't think USC or Arizona State has given him that feeling yet, and that's why he's kind of delayed this decision. He wanted to see Ohio State. Urban Meyer's kind of a legend in the state of Utah for what he did for the youth program back in 2004, undefeated season, Fiesta Bowl victory. And he's always kind of the type of guy that the Gustin family admired and really liked and always envisioned Porter rooting for. I think he had a fantastic visit to Ohio State this past weekend, from what I'm hearing. I know he brought, his father, his grandfather, his mother, I think a couple cousins, one of his coaches. So this was a no-joke type of visit, and between the in-home with Urban last week, the visit this week, and the fact that Porter is, I think the most important thing, above all else, is number one, he's an ultra competitor, and all he wants to do is win at the college level, and he knows Urban Meyer and Ohio State are going to give him that great opportunity. So I have Porter Gustin as in on National Signing Day for the Buckeyes. He'll make that announcement tomorrow at 11 Mountain Time between the Buckeyes, USC, Arizona State, and Utah.
That's the way to start the in or out game. Porter Gustin in, according to Alex Gleitman. Next up, Damon Arnett, the defensive back from Fort Lauderdale, Aquinas. We all know a lot about that school, of course, with the greatness it has produced. This was a South Carolina commitment. Where do you see Damon falling out?
Yeah, well, there's a reason Damon Arnett made the visit to Ohio State this weekend. Damon's had a offer for a while from Ohio State, but it wasn't committable until Carlton Davis left the class. This visit was kind of up in the air. Once Davis decided to go to Auburn, Buckeyes were full speed ahead on Arnett. And my sources, I talked to a couple people down around the St. Thomas Aquinas program, and right now, as of yesterday when Damon got back, they feel that he was leaning toward Ohio State Michigan's out, so, Damon's putting Michigan in that mix. They're out. It's between the Buckeyes and South Carolina, and a few weeks back, someone told me South Carolina, he was doing it, Damon just did not want to be a part of that situation. There's, a lot of questions around the program, how long is Steve Spurrier going to be there and whatnot. But Damon had a good in-home visit with the South Carolina coaches. He had a very good official visit to Columbia last weekend, and he came back from that visit feeling pretty good. So I think after that visit, he kind of eliminated Michigan, but there's a reason he took the Ohio State visit. He's really loved Ohio State ever since that Friday Night Lights trip. He hears what Joey Bosa is telling him. He hears what Chris Carter's telling him. There's a couple other pro-Buckeye people down there, and he came up and he had a great time, and I think he knows deep down inside that, it's hard to switch, and I think that's why he came out after and told Ryan Bartow that South Carolina's still number one, but now Ohio State's number two instead of Michigan. But from what I'm hearing, Damon Arnett is leaning toward toward Ohio State, and so I'm going to go Damon Arnett in this class.
Boom, 2 for 2. I'm liking this game. This is a game that I'm enjoying. Number 3, K.J. Hill, the receiver out of Arkansas. I have to admit, he was not on my radar in terms of a prospect, but I will tell anybody, there is a reason Ohio State and Alabama are fighting for this guy. If you go watch his video, he is very impressive. What do you think about K.J. Hill, the kind of do-it-all receiver out of Arkansas?
Going to keep this short and simple. Done. Urban sealed it last week on the in-home visit. That's how Ohio State feels, and I'm pretty sure this one's done. So I'm going to go in, a big in.
Okay, now I said this several times, I really would encourage people to go watch his video. He is a receiver that has a little bit of swag to his game. He's the kind of guy I like that gets out there and is like offended that someone's trying to cover him. That shows up in the video. Very impressive. Very good to hear he's in. So we're 3 for 3. Porter Gustin in. Damon Arnett in. K.J. Hill in. Now, the fourth one, Isaiah Prince, the wonderful offensive lineman out of Eleanor Roosevelt in suburban Maryland. One-time commitment to Alabama. Then he came and visited Ohio State. This past weekend he was at hometown Maryland. Who do you think comes out in the end with the big man from Maryland?
Yeah, well, when he took that surprise visit to Ohio State last weekend and came out of that trip, Ohio State felt very good about their chances, and they should say very, very good about their chances with Isaiah Prince. That was before he even announced or he was taken off the Alabama commitment list or whatnot. Larry Johnson, Ed Warner went in home with him last week. That went very well. The Buckeyes came back to Columbus feeling very good again about their chances with Isaiah Prince. That being said, there has been a type of recruit, a local recruit, that Maryland has done very well with the last few years. Mike Locksley there at Maryland, one of the best recruiters in the country. I mean, you talk about guys like Damian Prince last year and Stephon Diggs a few years back. There's a couple other, I think there's a linebacker and Derwan, I forget his name now, Derwan Gray, something like that. An offensive line.
Derwin Gray, yep.
Derwin Gray, yep, exactly. And, there's a couple guys like that, big-time recruits that Maryland was able to keep home. And Locksley was a big part of that. And this is kind of getting that feel to me. I mean, I put in my crystal ball to Ohio State following, that official visit last week with my intel from Ohio State and how good they felt about that situation. But, there's a reason Damien took an official visit to Maryland this weekend. He clearly wasn't 100% done. I mean, he could tell you all he wants. I mean, he's not quiet on the media, and I meant Isaiah Prince, not Damian Prince. But, Isaiah's gone on. He hasn't gone on record kind of since that Ohio State visit, and he could probably tell you all he wants that, he's doing it out of respect for the staff and the hometown school and whatnot, but this just has the vibe of one of those recruitments that Maryland ends up keeping that big-time recruit home. So I'm going to go with Isaiah Prince to Maryland, meaning out for the Ohio State Buckeyes class.
I tell you what, I agree with you on that one. It's just got to the point where it's almost like he can't decide between the Alabama and Ohio State, and it's just easier for him to stay home, and guys from that area tend to do that sometimes. Okay, the last two we're going to ask you about are technically already in. That's, of course, Michael Weber and Torrance Gibson. I guess what I need to hear from you now is, do you feel either one of them will be out come signing day?
Well, this is a tough one. I mean, Torrance, anything goes with that kid. I mean, it really does. And this recruitment went as exactly as I think we all expected when he committed to Ohio State. I know a lot of fans will probably disagree with me on that, but I think we kept expectations pretty good that, there will be visits and all of that, and there will be drama. But I think, after Ohio State's in-home last week, Urban Meyer went down there. I think they end up keeping Torrance Gibson in this class. And with Mike Weber, I actually put something up on the front row late last night, kind of a what I know with Mike Weber. And I'll just say that Ohio State feels confident they keep him. People close to Mike Weber, behind closed doors, they're hearing that Mike's going to stick with Ohio State. The only thing to me that's a little bit concerning is he hasn't come out publicly and kind of squashed this whole Michigan thing. It's very easy for him to just get on Twitter and say, I'm 100% committed to Ohio State. I will be signing with the Buckeyes on Wednesday. But he hasn't done that. And there's a lot of smoke from maybe some other media outlets that, Michigan could be the team to beat here actually at this point. He's leaning toward flipping to Michigan. I don't buy that based on, again, what Ohio State knows and what they're hearing from the Weber camp and what some other people close to him are telling me behind closed doors. But at the end of the day, there is some smoke out there, and I don't think it's just complete BS. I think Mike is thinking about, what about Michigan? But at the end of the day, right now, from everything I know, I'm going to say he sticks with the Buckeyes.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very pleasant edition of the In or Out game. Maybe even more pleasant by the fact that this game counts for real in 2 days, and it won't be Alex and me playing it. It will be some of the best young high school football players in the country. Keep it locked into Bucknuts for the entire week. This is what we do. You're in the right place for it. Alex will be down at 24/7 Sports headquarters in Brentwood, Tennessee, overseeing things for us as well. So, Alex, we appreciate you playing the In or Out game. Have a great Monday.
Thanks, Dan.